The online piano tutor and the online violin tutor. Today is a tutorial lesson, so I've actually had requested from one of my YouTube subscribers, Perity11, who has asked me to see if I can work through a little bit of Ashokan's Farewell, a piece by Ungar. I'm going to try my best with it. The copy I've got is only the last half of the music, but I can still go through the last half of the music for you, so this is going to be a tutorial for that. This is going to be the first tutorial I'm doing, the first of many I hope actually. So what I'm going to be doing is opening the floor to you guys out there. You can request some pieces of music for me to go through, anything that you're having particular trouble with. As long as I can get hold of the music, or you can send me the music somehow, it doesn't really matter. I'll play it all for you on the video, and then I'll go through some little parts for you as well that you specifically requested me to do so. But also, since I'm going to turn it into a tutorial for everybody out there as well, I'll probably include some bits in there that I think other people might have some trouble with, or some sort of some trickier parts with. So today, this is the tutorial on Ashokan's Farewell. I've only been sent the last half of this piece, so I've been sent about the last 40 bars or so. I've got a first and a second time bar around about 39-40 bars from the end of the piece of music. So I'm going to start playing from the second time bar just because I think it makes just more sense. I've only got a few bars before the first time bar and it doesn't make much sense to start there. So this is my version of the last part of Ashokan's Farewell. So the first thing that I notice about this is that there is a lot of movement between first position and third position. So I'm going to be having a look at that for you first. So if I'm going from about 40 bars from the end, from the second time bar, I'll put a link hopefully to the music to this so you can see sort of the last part that I'm talking about anyway. Now I can see straight away that it does start to move into third position after about 3 or 4 bars. Now you know it's going to move into third position because you can see that it's clearly out of the range of your first position part. So you need to sort of backtrace that until it gets to the point where it's still in first position potentially, but then it starts to move into third position. And that's then when you have to make the choice of what finger do you use and at what point do you move up into first, from first to third positions. So if I just play the little part for you and show you what I would do and how I chose it. So this is from the second time bar. So I have 2 Ds that I play. Now I would choose to move up on the first of those 2 Ds. You do have the option of playing the first D in first position as normal and then moving up and playing the second D in third position. I don't like to do that. If you've got two notes that are the same and you've got the option of moving up on one or the other, I always prefer to do the first one, because if you choose the second one you get that horrible sliding sound in between and it sounds more obvious that you're sliding positions. So, and to me it doesn't sound very nice, especially when there's another option that I can do. So if I moved up on the first of the 2 Ds, To me that sounds a lot better. I mean, you're not going to get rid of the sliding 100%, it's just part of the violin, and especially with a piece like this, actually sliding into positions does actually sound quite nice. So that's the first place that I would move into third position, on the first D of that bar. And then I can see that I'm going to be staying in third position for approximately 1, 2, 3, about 4 bars. And then I hit a B on the A string, and that's when I'm going to move down to first position. Moving from a 1 in third position to a 1 in first position is really good to do as well, because it's a nice, clean, easy slide between third position and first position. It's really hard if you're moving from, say, a first finger in third position to, say, something a higher finger in first position. So if you're moving from, say, a 1 to a 3, that's quite difficult to do. You're almost kind of going backwards in terms of fingering, because you've got to slide, you've got to pick up the first finger, slide it back, and almost put down more fingers than you had to start with, if that sort of makes sense. That's quite difficult to do, so you want to try and avoid that if possible. Another thing with third position as well is to try and avoid fourth fingers. Not only are they very difficult to do vibrato on, but because it means they're so high up on the violin, it's very difficult to get a nice decent tone and a nice decent sound out of it as well. So if you have the opportunity to either do an open A or an open D or something like that, or move back down into first position, that would be preferable in more cases than not, than trying to do a fourth finger in third position. And of course, fourth finger in fourth position and upwards, again, that's kind of, it's dodgy territory, because it's very difficult to get a decent tone and vibrato on it as well. So if I play that section again, moving up into third position, and then I'll show you where I would move back down into first position. I'll move back down here. I'm going to move up again to third position at this point. And then I hit another B. So I'm going to play that first part again for you, a little bit slower, so you can see where I'm moving up and down positions. I'm always going to try and move when I've got an open A, because that makes it easier to move the fingers, because I've got time to move without making any noise, any sliding noise or anything on the violin. Or I'm going to move from maybe a 1 to a 1 or a 3 to a 3, because that's always a good change in position as well. So what I'm looking out for really on the music is just the transition between notes that I'm able to play in first position and notes that I'm able to play in third position, all the while looking to see if it is going into third position at any point and when the most convenient time is to move. So as soon as I can see the music moving into third position, I'm looking out for an open A or an open D or something like that that I can move into afterwards, or maybe if I can go from a 1 to 1 or something like that. So again, just trying to avoid fourth fingers and open strings and that sort of thing. So I'll play it again from the second time bar and show you the rest of the position moves that I've done. So after the first time that I'm in third position for the high bit, this is where I'm going to move into first position. to move into third position again here, just because I can get a nicer tone. And also after that, at the end of that kind of phrase, if you like, I've got an E. Now I don't want to be doing an open E string because it's going to sound harsh and brash. I can't put vibrato on it either. So I'm going to try and do that E in third position where I can put a lot of vibrato on it. If I played that section, that just last little few bars that I go up to, without moving into third position, you should hear the difference. So this is moving into third position, as I would do. And this is in first position. So it sounds a little bit harsher when you're playing open E's, and of course you can't put vibrato on them. Another problem with that as well is that directly after that E at bar 44, I actually have to go into third position again as well. So I don't want to be doing an open E because then I've got to move into third position. If I did move into third position at bar 42 on that D from the open A, so I'm using the open A to move into third position, then I've set myself up all nicely for third position. So the next time I'm going to be moving up is at bar 53. So if I play bar 52 for you to lead you into bar 53. And then more or less from there on until we get to the very end, I'm just going to be staying in first position. So I moved it down into first position into one of the A's that I had just shortly after bar 53. The next and the last time I'm moving into third position is just before the end. The last kind of, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 or so bars before the end, where again I've got another high part, I've got another high D, which I know I can't do in first position. I have to do it in third. So again, it's just choosing the time that you can move up into third position. You'll always have several options, and I would always suggest that you play through those options. You know, you can always, there's always a couple of notes that you can move up into third position. So if that's the case, I normally suggest to my students that they try a couple of 3 ways that they know of, and then find A, the one that sounds the best and the less muddly and the less slidey, and B, the one that they can do the most efficiently. Because don't forget, most of the time you've got to just find your way and find where you're going to be jumping up into third position. You won't have the dots that I've got on my violin necessarily. If you have, do you have it? If you haven't, then you haven't. I've just got them on here so that you can see me clearly sliding up into first and third position, just for the purposes of the video. So just try out a few different options and see what you think. So in the last kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in the last 7 bars from the end is where I need to move into third position, because I know I've got a high D. So I can see that one of my notes is an open A right before a D in third position that I can move up to. So when I see an open A, I think that's the ideal time to move up. So I'll play the last part for you. Now the other thing with a piece like this is that you can do a few little slides and a few little trills and maybe a few little kind of grace notes or acciacaturas. Where you put them is sort of up to you really, where you kind of feel they need to go. There's no kind of, there's no right or wrong with adding them in. I would just say less is more. Simple but effective. Don't overdo them, or it's just going to sound like a big giant mess. It's going to sound like you're making mistakes everywhere rather than intentional slides that you've put in. So I'll play it again for you, and I'll just put in a couple of slides where I think they would be. I'm literally only going to be putting in, you know, 1, 2, 3 at the most, because I don't think I can put any more than that in without A, ruining the piece, and B, having any more options to do that. So I'm going to play from the second time bar, so the last 40 odd bars from the end, and add in a few slides as well. copy where I'm putting the slides on the music. I'm just kind of putting them maybe towards the end of phrases, or where I think I've got time to kind of put in a little slide, if you like. Like I said, there's no right or wrong with it, so just experiment with it. If you like it, then put the slide in. If you don't like it, don't put the slide in. If you don't think it sounds right, then don't put it in. So it's entirely up to you when and where you put those slides in. Just remember the golden rule: simple but effective. Less is more as well. In terms of the bowing, I'm just following what the bowing says on the music. So if it tells me to slur, I'm slurring. If it tells me to start with an up bow, I'm starting with the up bow. So I hope this video has been really helpful to you. It's just a little bit of an odd one, just because I've been given the last half of the music for Ashokan's farewell. But if you guys have any more requests, you're stuck on any pieces of music, you're not sure when to move up, when to move down into positions, you're not sure about trills, bowing techniques, just anything like that you maybe need some help with, leave a comment in the box, or you can send me an email. You can find my email on my YouTube page. As long as you give me the music, or maybe I have the music, it doesn't really matter, but if you can provide me with the music somehow, then I'll try and make a video for you and do a tutorial, and hopefully we can help you and everybody else out there as well. So thanks for watching. I really hope that Parity 11, I've answered your questions with this. If you do have any more questions, or anybody has any comments or questions, please leave them in the box below, and I'll try and respond as soon as I can. So please take a look at my other violin videos, and I'll catch you next time.